right. Looks like we're live from what I can tell. Technology is with us today. That is always a blessing and a success. Just gonna see if I have any questions coming up. Everyone seems fine so far. Amazing.
Yep, we're live and everything is working properly. So,
All right. Let's just get into it then. So, just gonna make sure I have my slides ready here so I can share it with you. Yeah. Okay, so before I do that, hello and welcome to this masterclass, everyone. My name is Simba and I have Mark with me today. So before I do that, hello and welcome to this masterclass, everyone. My name is Simba and I have Mark and I have some today. So before I do that, hello. I have some reverb I noticed. Let's make sure that doesn't stay.
is that coming from?
No, that was from me.
Okay.
Great. So what we're going to go through is what TRE is, and I'm going to explain who this is for. So I'm just going to be sharing a few slides with everyone so you can follow along into this journey. So the name of this masterclass is The Future of TRE. And I know that a lot of people are here, might not even know what TRE is, and some might know what TRE is because there are in my training program or in other training programs or have finished a program. So before we do that, I just wanted to say that we're going to go through quite a lot of information. I'm going to give you a few practical exercises as well as we go along this journey. So if you have something to take notes, that will be great. If you're watching the replay later, then of course you can pause and take some notes. But you can also write down questions, right? At the end of these masterclass, I'm going to allow for some time for questions. And you can write them in the chat, in the Facebook group, and I'll answer them as many as I can, of course, giving time. But make yourself at home and let's get started. So I'm just going to stop sharing the screen and we're going to start with a grounding exercise. And you're going to realize why. Because the level we come in from in our nervous system determines what you remember, what is important for you, and even what you can perceive, what you can receive from this master class. So just make sure you're feeling comfortable. You're sitting down, lying down. I'd like everyone to invite you to just relax a little bit, just feel into your body. And the first time we do this, it might feel a little bit strange. What do you mean feeling into my body? Just like anything, is my clothes sitting on? Do I need to fix something? Do I need to adjust it? And just take a few breaths from here. And we're going to gently rub our hands to generate a little bit of heat. And from here, we're just going to stroke the sides of our neck like this on the right and the left side. Just going to gently move down like this. And you can work one side at a time. And then the other side. And just take a few deep breaths here. And just shake it out a little bit. So this is just so we can land and arrive. And I can already hear my own nervous system. My voice is a little bit lower. It's a little bit more spacing in between. I can get really excited when I talk about this. So I might add in a few grounding exercises so we can remember what I'm sharing, that we can stay on top of our grounding. both for me and for you. So I'm going to go ahead and actually pin myself so you can see me a little bit better, since I will be showing some exercises and some slides. Okay, so I just want to start off and explaining who this masterclass is for, so you can know straight away, is this the right place? Have I arrived to the right place? Or is this going to talk about what I'm interested in or not? So this masterclass is definitely for you who want to learn how to practice TRE safely by yourself, so you can integrate it into your daily routine and work with stress and emotional regulation. And it's also for you who want to gain a deeper understanding of the polyvagal theory, the vagus nerve, so that you can feel more empowered, that you can understand human interactions and dynamics a little bit better. This masterclass is also for what we call here at Living with the Spirit a conscious leader. And a conscious leader is essentially anyone that's leading someone in their community, right? You might be a boss at your work. It might be that you're a parent in your family that leads something forward. You might be leading a community. You are leading, not necessarily that you're in charge, but your devotion to your practice, to your drive to change, to do something differently in life, usually makes you the first person to start to do this. Every one of your friends is saying, oh my God, you're always doing these health practices and all of these different things. And you kind of sometimes feel lonely doing that, right? So that's what we call a conscious leader, because you're the first person to start to do this. You're leading that change, and you want to understand why you have this drive and how you can go deeper into it, and also how you can gain terminology and knowledge. So maybe you can inspire the people around you, so you won't be alone in this, that there's other people that will be on the same journey as you. This is also great for anyone that's working professionally with people. If you're a body worker, chiropractor, osteopath, physiotherapist, working within the fields of yoga, energy healing, Reiki, hands-on, but also if you're a counselor, therapist, or coach, any professional capacity that you're working with people, this is a great masterclass, and this is a great tool, TRE, because it really allows you to connect to yourself in ways that I will be explaining a little bit more in a little bit. And this is also obviously great if you already are in the TRE provider training program, then we call them TRE provider trainees. If you already are a TRE provider, that you finished the program and you're certified. If you're becoming a certification trainer like I am, that I can train people to become providers and practitioners, or if you are a trainer. So my aim is to do the whole spectrum of what is TRE, if you don't know what it is, to where do I fit into this journey? What is my aim to do with TRE? And how do I aim to move it forward with the skills, experiences, and tools that I have in my toolbox that I've accumulated over a couple of years now. So this is really who this masterclass is for. And the reason I wanted to do this masterclass is that I see a few different challenges, not just in people that are coming into wanting to learn TRE, but also people that are professional in TRE. And a lot of the challenges I see in people when they want to learn TRE or more about the autonomic nervous system is they know that there's more work to be done to release stress. They know that there's something there. There's a deeper level of myself that I want to connect to. And I feel it at times. I connect to it, but I don't really know how to stay in that zone, how really can create a stable connection to that piece of myself. How do I go deep? And how do I have a practice that allows me to go into this area within myself where I just feel more expansive? I feel that my intuition is on point. I'll get a lot of information or creativity sparkles within me. Most people I work with are highly motivated and they're already practicing something, right? You don't have to be a professional in anything, but they usually have some kind of practice going on, or they're just starting their practices. And practices might be meditation, mindfulness, breathing exercises, the EFT tapping. In some shape or form, they're already health conscious and interested, or starting the journey and start to realize that health is more than what you think. It's a cumulative effort of all the different things that you do. And then they know there's more to life than just work, pay bills, and trying to navigate, all the changes that we have in everyday stress uh, in a modern life that we live. So I see that there's a lot of challenges for people to discover something deeper, right? Like, is this it? Is this all there is to life? They want to go a little bit deeper, and they realize that they have glimpses of that place within themselves, but they don't really know how to come back into that. And many of the challenges I see with people that are already working with TRE, whether they're providers or certification trainer, is many times it's hard to explain what is TRE and what does it do for people. A lot of people feel that it looks weird on camera because you're lying down and you're shaking, and we automatically think that someone is sick when they're shaking, or it's an expression of an illness. So they kind of feel a little bit not comfortable to show this amazing tool and modality that has so much potential to heal a person on all levels, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And as a tool or a modality in general, it's relatively unknown. And although the understanding of the autonomic nervous system and the vagus nerve is kind of growing and trending, and I'm starting to see more of it, and hashtags and on Instagram and programs, and there's a need for it. It's still very much in its infancy. It's still very much new. So we're kind of pioneers in that field in a sense, because we're trying to bring something out into the world that the world needs, but it's still a little bit new. Just going to pause sharing screen a little bit. It's still a little bit new. So how do you get that message out, and how do people really understand what it is and why it might be a benefit for you? And that's always the case, right? How do you explain something? Because you have a great experience and you want to relay it to someone else, but you might sound very biased when you talk from that place, and people say, yeah, it's just because you believe in it. That's why you think it's such a great thing. But I don't think it comes from that place. I never met anyone that tried TRE that tries to convince someone else how good it is. They're literally sharing from a precious place within themselves. They touch something very deep within them, and they are talking from that place, and they want to give it to other people. Many times, when someone is coming on a little bit strong, we might be a little bit reclusive. Yeah, that sounds a little bit too good to be true, because that's how it is today. We want to sell services, and it might not always be the most authentic messaging and marketing out there. So we might be a little bit skeptic. And I think this might be a challenge many times. How do I come across authentic in that messaging? So let me share a little bit about my journey. I am from Sweden originally. I started my journey very young, I would say. When I was 11, I really started to thinking about what is life really about. I started to study more qigong and energy work, and I was reading a lot of these books and materials because my father is a karate sensei and also a qigong master of many years. So I kind of took those skills with me naturally. I grew up with that knowledge around me. My mother is a Western nurse, so I had that energetical, a little bit more abstract side in me as I grew up. And I also had a Western lineage with science-based knowledge that comes from that part of the world. So I grew up with both lineages, I would say, or both trajectories of looking at life. And I got into health probably around 2012, I would say. I started working full time. And I was working for a couple of years in a few different projects. And I really felt like something was missing, right? So I kind of decided to start to look for something else, right? I was still I was doing the practices right. I learned how to be a personal trainer. I was a massage therapist. I was working as a holistic lifestyle coach. I was coaching people. I was doing good. My life was good. I was in a good place. Something was kind of missing. And then I met Sarah, my wife, and she was talking about Chiang Mai, and she was in Thailand, and she had this vision about creating a center that people can come and do healing, because she had just been on a healing journey coming from a burnout episode from her corporate world. And a long story short, we got together and we decided to do this journey. So in 2018, I moved to Thailand, to Chiang Mai. And it was really clear to me from the beginning, this is a very special journey, because we came originally with one plan to do a business endeavor together with a person. And as soon as we arrived, we realized we're on two different timelines. We're two different cultures. This person wanted to start in 6 months. We wanted to start today. So there was no animosity. We just realized this is not going to work out. So plan A was gone. And then I realized this is a very different journey. This is not a journey where there's checklists and boxes. This is going to be a journey within me, as well as figuring out how to manifest something in the tangible world. So we got this house in downtown Chiang Mai, and we decided to open it up. So people came for classes. I was doing all kind of foam rolling classes, physical exercise classes, a lot of different tools that I had been using in Sweden, I was using here, that people can have walk-in to these classes. We had people that lived with us inside of the house that we did in residential programs. And it was really growing more and more. And then COVID came, right? And then everything has to go online, obviously, because people couldn't move. And that's when I really moved into this image here, where I started to practice TRE, or rather, I was finishing my TRE prior to training program just as COVID started. So then we transitioned to working more online, and we had this hybrid model because we still had people that lived with us, but we started to work more online and sharing TRE to the world. And we got to meet a lot of people that we probably wouldn't have met before, because they wouldn't have been on a camera, right, and wanted to do a Zoom call, but now people were kind of forced. And then in 2021, we decided to move out of the city, because the Chiang Mai city is amazing. It's a mecca for healing. It's a very peaceful and safe place, but it's still a city. If you really want to regulate your nervous system and get to know yourself, you cannot really be deep inside of a city environment all the time. You need to connect to something natural, something that is out in nature. So that's when we decided to invest into a farm, and we moved out there 2021. And in the beginning, it was me and Sarah working as practitioners, and Mark came with us as a client, did his own healing journey. And today he is here working with us as a fellow practitioner, and also learning to become a certification trainer in TRE. And I got to introduce TRE to my father in 2024, earlier this year. And it was a very amazing journey to share, right? To give back to someone that's given me so much in this journey, in this trajectory that I'm going in life, simply. And also this year, we had the founder, Dr. David Berceli, that actually came here for a retreat of its own. And I think a lot of it, the vision of innovating TRE and moving it forward, really started to crystallize itself when he was here, because we had a lot of discussion and a lot of aha moments of how can we move this forward in a way that it will touch more people's life. So I just want to say, I'm not an authority in this. It's not me that is leading the whole TRE movement. I'm a certification trainer in it. I have a very strong vision to imbue my skills and experiences and talents into this to continue to innovate it. So how about we just add in a little bit of movement into this, right? And the reason for that is just to drop into our body. Many times when we look at something, or in my case, when I'm talking, we might start to go up to our head and think. And this work is really about being present and mindful. So I'd like to invite you into this place, one hand on your heart, one hand on top of it. Don't worry if you don't know fully where your heart is. Wherever you think your heart is good enough. And just take a few breaths. And if your body wants to move, let it. You might not do so naturally in the beginning. You might need to give it a little bit of a wiggle, almost like you're swaying your upper body a little bit side to side. And what we're trying to do is just connect to yourself, really. And it might feel a bit weird in the beginning, moving your body. What is this going to do for anything? But as you do, sometimes you start to feel a second movement, almost like you're thinking, am I moving my body or is something else moving? And this is very similar to when we practice TRE, right? We're battling with, am I consciously doing this or is the body actually doing it on its own? So this is an invitation just for you to start to realize what I'm talking about and to gain a little bit of an experience of how does it feel like when you tune into your body for a bit. And I really started my journey as a martial arts coach, like working more professional with people in 2003. And I was teaching in schools. I was teaching in the school that I was involved in. We had a lot of youth projects working with people in all walks of life. And then I was kind of doing that for a few years, and I did a few other jobs, but I was figuring my way out. I wasn't really clear on how this would look like. But then in 2012, I really started working full time with coaching, personal training, massage therapy. And what I really noticed doing this was I could get people to a certain understanding and level of taking care of themselves, but they always fell back for some reason. A life event, a stressor. If everything was going according to plan, there was no problem. But as soon as something happened, they always fell back. So I was curious, why is that, right? So I started to learn more about coaching. I started to learn more about psychology, and I really created my own unique way of working with mind, emotions, and body. And when I came to Chiang Mai, Thailand, I was kind of used to it because I was in a multidisciplinary team. So everyone around me was doing something in the similar fields of what I was doing. Not exactly what I was doing, but I was in a community of people that had similar interests. So it was normal for me. And when I came to Chiang Mai, I realized this is not very common that people bridge all of these knowledge together when they're working with health. They're usually very good in one area or the other, but they usually don't mix it all together like this. So what happens was that I started working with a lot of professionals for rehab centers, and I got great results with both the owners and the therapists, and they invited me in to work with the clients. And that's how I started to work on a broader scene with people as soon as we arrived, more or less. It was just a few months into coming to Thailand. And back in Sweden, I already started this trajectory because the company I was working for, they were already working with a lot of big names, of big companies in Sweden. So what we were specialized in was in corporate health. We went to the actual headquarters or to the work site of where all of these companies were, and we had lectures and we went through a lot of different workshops. We had trainings, we had massage schedules, we even had like almost like cooking classes at some point. So we really wanted to bring health to them, not just that they go to a fitness center. We just wanted to bring it to them. And I also worked a lot with sports and athletes because that was my background for martial arts. I worked with a lot of high level martial artists. I worked with soccer teams. So basically, I work with a lot of different people in a wide range of knowledges, experiences, and needs. And what that really did was it started to give me a unique way of looking at people. And I realized that there's starting to be a thin red, like a red thread through all of these needs, right? There's something similar with all of these people. So when I came to Shamai, I was very curious about what that is. And I wanted to share my message to the world. I was really fired up and very enthusiastic about sharing all of this knowledge and also for myself figuring out, where is this really coming from? What is this that binds everyone together? And I can really say wasn't until I started to come into TRE that I noticed what that thin red thread was, right? And that is really the nervous system, your regulation, your, just gonna pause here for a minute, your ability to regulate stressors, triggers, your ability to manage your energy levels, your thoughts, your emotions in real time when it is happening. And that was just so amazing because I heard people talk about it in terms of psychology and mindset and but no one was really talking about it from a perspective of the nervous system, that this is something beyond your thinking mind. This is something you've done so many times, so it's like a trained habit within you, and you're most likely not even aware of most reactions and responses you have until you start to work with your nervous system, because they're so automatic. They're happening before there's a cognition to your actions. And that's really what fascinated me with TRE, because TRE goes right into that realm. It really allows you to deep dive into the realm of the nervous system and how you ground your nervous system and how you befriend it, how you learn what it is that is happening for you. So as I mentioned, some of you might come to this masterclass today wondering what TRE is, and it was created by Dr. David Berceli. It's a safe way to induce the body's natural shaking or tremoring mechanism, right? So if you ever been in school or you had an exam, or you're late for an appointment and you don't know how someone is going to respond to it, you might have noticed your hand twitching or your foot twitching, or it's hard to sit still, or your breathe starts to go up, or you start to rock a little bit back and forward. That's the natural shaking mechanism that your body has. And it uses that to release tension and stress. And it's not just in humans, it is in animals too. So the founder of TRE, who is a doctor in social work, he really got interested into, how do I navigate this, right? He was traveling a lot of war-torn countries. And when he came to these war-torn countries, he came as a therapist, and he had all of these Western intervention and psychological tools to work with people. But a lot of people didn't believe in it because of their belief system. Culturally, wasn't appropriated to talk about mind, body, and spirit in that sense. So he found that all of his tools, he, as himself said, they were quite useless. I'm sitting with a gold mine of tools to work with people that are traumatized or being traumatized in this moment, but I can't do anything with it because I can't reach them. And when he was working in these areas, he was in Afghanistan, Kenya, and Lebanon. Many times there were active war or bomb raids, right? So they had to go down into bunkers for shelter. And as he was sitting in those bunkers for hours, many times, he made two significant findings: that whenever a bomb would drop, it will create a large, loud sound, of course, right? Everyone will go into fetal position. And he also noticed that the animal and his children, they were shaking the whole time. And afterwards, they just walked out. The children and animal, they just walked out of the bunker like nothing had happened, where he's noticing himself and the other adults, they were clearly traumatized and affected by it. So he started to ask the other adults, why did you tremor? And they said, no, we didn't tremor because we didn't want to look weak for the other children, or we want to look strong so people have someone that's a leader figure that they can follow. So that kind of got him interested, and he just started studying all of these different fields to figure out how is it that regardless of skin color or culture, we all do the same mechanisms, and how is that in animal and in children that are kind of unaffected by society and culture, this exists within us, but as adults, we resist it. And what he did was he founded 7 exercises together with the polyvagal theory as a way to reinitiate this tremoring mechanism within your system, and also learning how to navigate your body, your nervous system, so you don't get overwhelmed, that you don't do too much. Because even if you do something that's good, you can do too much out of it. You can overwhelm yourself if you go too hard or too aggressive into a practice. So when we look at TRE, what it's really designed to, it's designed to release deep tension pattern and downgrade nervous system activation. So basically, if you're feeling a lot of stress, maybe heart is beating fast, or you're breathing fast, or you feel heat in your body, that's an acute stress that you probably will feel and you will notice, or your mind is racing. A stress that you might not notice is that you always have tension in your body. It's hard to fully breathe fully. You might not feel certain body parts, they're disconnected from you. So that's when the higher levels of stress have started to integrate and seep into your body, and there went into numbness. So what TRE does, it really goes in and releases all of this stress and tension so that you can come out of it. So you can let go of that stress and come into a posture of safety and health. And it brings you back into the now and the inside of yourself. It connects you to yourself, and it really restores safety for you. So when we're looking at TRE today, more than 5 million people have been reintroduced to TRE. It exists in approximately 67 countries on the planet. So I would say probably more, because this is a while since I got this information. People use it as trauma recovery, for stress reduction, helping the planet to wake up. Many times when you look at the nervous system and the knowledge that we get from this modality, from this tool, it is almost like the movie Matrix, right? You unplug yourself. And I don't mean it in a dogmatic way. I really mean it in, when you stop and you don't focus on, I have to do the next thing, I'm going to go and do that, I'm going to talk to this person, I'm going to wake up, and I'm going to, when you just stop everything and come back to yourself in this moment right here, you might start to notice that no one else around you is doing that. And that's really what I'm highlighting. And that is waking the planet up. As I look at it, you start to make people aware of a lot of actions that we're doing is coming from a stress that we're not aware of, and we think we're consciously doing it, but it's happening on a autonomic nervous system level beyond your thinking mind. So it's like you're just running on a program that you didn't know you put in there. You might not know how to stop it. You might not even know that it's running. It helps you to stop everything and consciously start to look at, what am I doing? So you gain better understanding for yourself and for how you show up in the world. And, one of the few benefits when I look at TRE, it's really easy to learn, helps you with sleep, better focus, better sense of calm. It really primes you for stressful situations, connects mind, body, and spirit, helps you to make decisions. This used to be a big thing for me. Oh, should I do this? Should I do that? And I used to ask everyone for their opinion before I made a decision, because I was coming from so much anxiety. Reduces a lot of stress, worry, and anxiety, and even depression, because it downregulates the nervous system. And it can relieve a lot of stress-related pain, which I personally would say is all pain. It's stress-related in some kind, or emotionally related in some kind. Even if you had a physical injury to the area, there's components of stress and emotions that is further in deepening this pain to go into your system. So I wanted to mention grounding, right? Because some of you have heard what grounding is. Some of you might not know what it is. Some of you might have a different opinion or view than I have about what grounding is. I just wanted to highlight it a little bit in this master class. When I look at grounding, I like this quote from Marilyn O'Malley. It is a practice that connects us energetically to the earth. It allows us to be more authentically in our body, in the present moment, and receive nourishing energy. Grounding allows your body to use all of your talents and gifts, know their value in the world, and give birth to your visions and goals. So it really allows you to have the foundation to do whatever you want to do. It's much like one of my coaches used to say, you cannot fire a cannon from a canoe. It's just going to go everywhere. Grounding gives you that foundation so you can take off in the direction that you want to do, or even continue living life the way you're doing it, but with a more stable foundation. And that stable foundation starts within. It never starts without. It never starts with, I get this job, I get this much money, I meet this perfect partner, or my partner starts to recognize my needs, or my kids, or whatever. It never starts from the outside, it always starts from the inside. And that's really the recognition and power we have when we start to practice grounding, because we're bringing all that awareness back into ourselves and we start to take decisions from a deeper place within us, which creates more sustainability and allows us to move in the direction that we're really looking for. So when I look at being grounded, being connected to yourself, it really allows for better understanding of emotional reactions. And many times when we grow up, let's say you're angry, it's not like you get cheered on for being angry or throwing a tantrum. It's not always that people understand the need of what an anger outburst is. Many times you can get punished, or someone tells you to do something, or they might ignore you. So we're not many times in society taught how to regulate emotions with someone that's grounded and helps us to navigate them. We are either accepted for having certain emotions or not accepting for having other emotions, which can create an inner turmoil within us. So grounding really allows us to understand those reactions better and how they're related to your stress levels in your nervous system, and also how you can start to recognize feeling and responses are influenced from where you're coming from in your nervous system, if you're feeling safe or if there's a lack of safety. So if I'm going to do a public speaking and I don't like my voice, and I feel like I have nothing to say or something like that, I'm going to be nervous. I'm going to be equal nervous as if a car is coming towards me, because your brain doesn't really go, oh, this is ego self, or this is physical body. It says there is stress to us. We need to fight it, move against the danger, or flight it, move away from it. So when you start to realize those aspects about yourself in your nervous system, it gives you more opportunity and awareness to manage your emotions better, which allows usually for better outcomes in all walks of life. So it helps us with emotional maturity. You can understand your reactions, and you can also understand other people's reactions, that they might not say this thing to you because they're mean to you. They are stressed. It doesn't make it okay. We still have boundaries, but where it's coming from in them might not be malicious. They might not be coming from a harmful intent. If we can recognize that and manage it within ourselves, we can become more compassionate. And then just you being you and being grounded allows for other people to relax and find their way back to themselves deeper. So once again, you doing your own work and being grounded, just showing up like that without talking about it, your mere presence is going to allow other people to feel more grounded simply by you being yourself. That is how powerful this work is. It helps with relationships and finances. And it helps with relationships definitely because you can understand yourself better. As I mentioned, you can understand other people, it creates more compassion for you. But when you look at money and finances, a lot of it is about looking pragmatic at things. And it's the ability to hold something, to be able to receive more, to ask for more, to manage more people or tasks. And you have a wider focus and more stability within you. So it really allows you to hold more. That's the capacity. And it allows you to receive more. So it's a tool that I found is helping people not only with their personal inquiries, but also professionally, mentally, emotionally, in so many areas. You can use grounding to create a platform that allows you to show up and to create more of what you want and to move deeper into that direction in life that you are looking into moving without putting in more effort, because everything today is putting in more effort to get more outcome. This is kind of the opposite. You learn to focus on the right thing and place the right energy at the right time at the right place, which leads you in the direction that you actually want. And the way this works is many times when I look at motivation, working with people, a lot of motivation comes from scarcity. I do this not to have this. Oh, I better work hard. I better get a good education, a good job, and I do good at my job so I don't get fired, so I can have this money, so I can pay these bills and this house. So a lot of motivation comes from fear, from not winding up in a place. When you start to ground, you can operate from a place of where do I want to go, not avoiding what I don't want in my life. So it really connects you into yourself in a way that allows you to be more of what you want to be and less of what you think other people should expect from you or what society is calling you to do. And of course, it helps to work with stress release. It works with trauma because you're working with the body. And when there's a trauma, it's stored in the nervous system, in the brainstem, and TRE directly works with that area. So you might need more than just TRE to resolve a trauma. You might need psychotherapy, working with a therapist that's skilled in these areas. But TRE will help you downregulate the stress from that trauma. And with the grounding, you can gradually start to release those patterns and triggers, allowing you to feel safer. So TRE is a great standalone modality when it comes to working with grounding because it grounds that basic imprint of stress that we have in our body that manifests in your nervous system. And if we don't work with stressors that we have in our nervous system that are built up, it can lead to aggression, can lead to overwhelming sensations or shut down. So commonly today in society, a lot of people talk about procrastination or self-sabotage. Well, that's actually a protective mechanism. That's an overwhelm that brings your body to a shutdown mode because it is feeling like it's doing too much. It's pressing too much. It doesn't mean that that you cannot do more. It's the feeling of it. I feel I'm not able to feel safe enough to add more tasks and responsibility onto my existing life as it is. And this is not, once again, from your cognition. This is from your body. This is from your nervous system. So when you practice grounding and TRE, it helps you to release this pent up energy, which helps with regulation, digestion, and it really restores balance and allows you to start to feel safe in your own skin. And of course, you can live life with purpose and vitality, right? You can really fuel your core values and aspirations. And it clearly allows you to identify, what are your motivators and drive in life? Like I mentioned, are you operating from fear or you're operating from purpose and joy and where you really want to go as you progress forward. So let's just take a moment. Once again, just rub your hands a little bit. And the reason I'm taking pauses as well is because there's two dialogues going on whenever any one of us talks, but definitely when I talk. One is to your intellect and one is to your body. So you might start to feel things as I talk about this. And that's because your body is listening too. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the bottom of the ears, relax your shoulders, gently pull them down and do a few circles. And your ears are intimately connected to your autonomic nervous system. So this is almost like massaging the very system that carries stress in your body. And you might notice that you yawn. You might notice more saliva in your mouth. You might feel a little bit more stressed. Whatever you're noticing is a sign of your body is starting to regulate itself. Something is starting to bring it back into the present moment. And take a few deep breaths here. And then just let it go. And once again, I notice in myself, my excitement goes down a little bit. And this is how you can work with yourself in real time, whether it's professional or in relationships, when you're just about to get into this argument and I know I'm right and I'm going to say I'm right this time. You can just step back and do a little bit of grounding. Things are going to change. And this is how you can use grounding in real time and not just as a good strategy that I do at home or on my yoga mat or in the gym. I can use it in real time when something is happening that is stressing for me or challenging or triggering. So really that's the background of TRE and grounding and where it comes from. Where the name, the Future of TRE, the masterclass comes from is really what I would like to do from here and to help not just the modality move forward, but people practicing this modality to gain more understanding of themselves and to feel better and have more avenues of doing that. And I'm going to share a few more slides just for you to get an idea of how that can look like or why. So when I look at TRE, it's really a modality with a limitless potential, meaning you're working with something that is embedded within yourself, something that's very real, very authentic, something that you cannot really think your way out. This is your body expressing itself in real time when we have these tremors, these movements. And the expression of the body is endless. There's so many facets of ourselves that we can continue to discover and to refine and to learn how to harness for our own benefit and personal health. So my mission as a teacher is really to enhance and innovate these skills for TRE providers, trainers, trainees, but also for people that are interested in TRE in general. And I really focus on using TRE as a transformational tool and not a quick fix, right? It is really a transformational tool. It requires you to continue for a little bit and practice it for a little bit, but you might start to notice the effects in just one session for sure. But years later down the line of practicing TRE, I'm still finding benefits within myself because I continue to innovate the practice. Interventions is something we use in TRE, and intervention is basically when you give the body a task or you allow the body to move in a certain way, or you allow it to open up, like this energy that's moving through your body, this movement that's moving through your body. You're giving it different prompts and you're watching how the body responds to that. And when you learn to master these interventions, which is a skill that you need a lot of practice and you need to observe a lot of bodies to do, and you need to get that practice and guidance from someone that's skilled within it, you can really start to do magic with this modality. And my goal is really to help people refine these skills and apply these interventions effectively for themselves, but also professionally in their TRE practice. When I look at TRE interventions, one of the things that I'm doing is I'm combining TRE with other modalities. And when I say that, I know that might rub some people off and people might be stressed off by it because, especially in the therapeutic field, right? You want to do as little as possible to really see what happens with a body, with a nervous system. So let me rephrase what I mean. I work with TRE and I take in elements from other modalities onto TRE, which allows for a richer experience, which allows for a continuous growth while respecting TRE, the legacy, the way we do it, and what TRE is. So it's still a TRE session, but we bridge it and we continue to develop it and we innovate it. And we know exactly when we're adding too many things into a session, and then we just back it down to the basic of practicing TRE the way it was designed. And what I really like and what I'm doing and want to do more of is to teach people how to successfully blend TRE with other modalities. And more importantly, when not to mix styles so that you can ensure client safety and the benefits. I want to help people continue to developing skills and recognize that everyone has a starting point. So I don't think of it as everyone has to teach the same way. I look at a student as what are your strengths, what comes naturally for you, what are you passionate about, and that's what we continue to build on. And then of course, what is challenging for you, that's what we also continue to build on, so you will have a stable base. But I don't try to make an assembly line program for people. There's a structure of it, but I'm working individually with the students for them to develop their own skills and to become who they want to become within this field. Transference and counter-transference is something very big in TRE, and it's really in the realms of what am I bringing into a session from a previous life experience. So a client comes in and starts to talk to me like my uncle. Maybe I didn't like my uncle, so I might counter-transfer by treating them in a certain way because it reminds me of something that's not nice for me. Or this person treats me in a certain way because they have something that happened to them in the past that they're bringing into the session. And this is something we teach in TRE, but I have a very unique skill set within this because I've lived with clients for close to 4 or 5 years now in live-in retreats. And during COVID, we did sessions every day with clients, several hours a day. And I'm saying every day, I mean Monday to Sunday. I don't mean Monday to Friday. So I've learned a lot about how this shows up and how we can compassionately help people move forward if we can give ourselves what we need and do our own work, so we can show up from a place of compassion and grounding and hold space for someone and realize this person is not acting out of malice towards me. They're coming from a stressful or a traumatized place. If I can be calm and grounded and meet them with compassion, they have a way to find their way back. And further deepening understanding of yourself through TRE and working with fascia, energy movements, organ releases in real time. Many times we talk about these things as we want to do a change with the body. And many times when you get energy healing or treatments, you feel a big difference. But when we do TRE, you can physically see what you're doing, how that is reflecting in the body in real time. You can see the movements in the area that you might be doing energy or subtler work, right? So it really allows you to understand deeper and see tangibly what it is you're doing. And it allows the person to realize that too. And you also learn more about how the body is interconnected as an organism and how this interconnectedness in theory can help yourself in all your practices and help your clients move forward as they progress forward in life. So generally, what I want to say with this is that the human body, when I look at TRE, I look at it the same as people treat their body. It's all often treated like a kick bike, you know, due to life stressors, where it's actually an intricate vessel that's ready to take you anywhere. It's used as a kick bike, but it's a rocket ship. And it's really a dormant process that we activate when we practice TRE that has the potential to heal you from anything, and to not just heal you, continue to develop and lead you forward and allow you to grow in many areas, in many directions. And it's really limitless. So when I look at TRE in my own my own words, I'd say it's a wake-up call. You know, it's to embrace who you truly are and to step forward into the true vulnerable role in an authentic essence. The profound awareness that comes from realizing that we are vibration, light, energy, frequency, and matter. When you practice TRE, you're literally tuning every cell of your body to a higher frequency and reducing the lower frequencies obtained through stress, trauma, and past events. This is a unique aspect that you can bring about, and it's already inside of you, and it will guide you to a deeper state of being. It's like you're tuning an instrument, basically, when you're working with TRE. You're tuning every cell of your body to resonate at a different frequency that allows for your body to function better mentally, emotionally, and physically. So there's a few different avenues of working with TRE, and traditionally when it comes to working with TRE is that you do a one-on-one session with someone, either in person or online. You do a group, you come to a group class, either one-on-one. And then we have what's called Module 1, which is a 2-day training. And then we have a year-long program that's called the TRE Provider Training Program. And usually that's been it. Hasn't been much after that, which is good because it gets you to a certain point. But as you may or may not know, to continue to innovate and continue to develop something requires a lot of passion. And we usually accelerate it after we've done a training and we want to show this training to the world. But after a while, that kind of starts to fade out a little bit. And that is why I wanted to do a full range of how do we work with TRE, whether you're just hearing about this tool first time today, or you've been working with this for years. How can I show you a full range of how to work with these tools and develop them for yourself and professionally as well? So I've worked with a lot of different people, right? And when it comes to the Module 1, I really like the description that Phil Moore, a digital nomad that did a Module 1 training with us, had to talk about it. And I usually use testimonials because I like people's authentic words. I can put words into thing what it is for me, but I like it when people explain it from their own perspective, because it becomes, just like TRE, very much more authentic and real. And really what he walked away with and what he said was that he can experience interactions and stressors in life and also what to do and navigate them. So really walked away with a framework of, oh, this is why I'm feeling certain stressors, or my partner or my colleague or whoever I'm meeting. And he also walked away with an understanding that everyone does when you do the Module 1 of how can I practice TRE and grounding for myself and add it into my daily practices that allows me to give all of the benefits that I've been just sharing with you now the last hour or so. And I believe that's really the main goal, you know, when I look at it, that it's a way of practice TRE and grounding so you can feel safe in your everyday life, and it allows you to show up vulnerable, but safe, vulnerable, and authentic, very authentic. So Linda is another client that I work with in the TRE Provider Training Program, and I just do talk about Linda's progress, because she wasn't new to this. She's a seasoned coach, personal trainer that have been working with this longer than me and is really good at what she's doing. And in this process, the year-long program that she did with us, she started noticing things about herself and transforming herself that led to her transforming her business, being able to touch people differently, literally, and also metaphorically touch the emotions and teach people how to find themselves in a world that's full of stress. And she learned the practical tools and the knowledge, to both serve herself and others. And she's actively practicing it both for herself today and also in groups online and in one-on-ones. And I think it's a beautiful journey just to look at where you start when you're already an experienced coach, and how that can continue to elevate you to even higher levels of being and moving forward. And then we have this guy, and we also have him on the call. So maybe if I put you on instead, that I talk about you in third person, even though that is a common practice here in Thailand. What would you say that working with TRE has done for you?
Well, it's kind of been a long journey for me. Originally, I was doing some TRE to work through my own trauma, my own experiences, and to learn about my nervous system. But I always say that there are three major benefits that I have personally noticed about my journey with TRE. The first one is like my changes in my physical body. And before, I was holding a lot of tension in my body, in my shoulders, in my chest, in my legs. And so after doing TRE for some time, I actually noticed that my posture is changing. Maybe I'm even just like this much taller as well. So there's the physical changes. Then I also notice the emotional changes, the ability to notice and understand my own nervous system, my own regulation, and the grounding that goes along with TRE that helps me to maintain more of a stable state in the polyvagal curve. And the last thing is that it's given me new eyes to see through. I have nervous system glasses. So when I meet another person, no matter what age they are or where they're from, instead of just seeing the words that they're saying or the physical signs, I see the nervous system. And I look at where the nervous system is acting from or reacting from, which gives me a deeper insight into what they really need, or what is the thing that they're saying that's behind the words. So it's been a very powerful tool for me as a person, but also as a practitioner.
Wonderful. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is a very powerful journey for, I think, everyone basically that I met. And even to the point, where we had the founder with us, staying with us for doing his own retreat, basically, right? And what he told us is, which we also have in our podcast, we had a chat with him to conclude his experience of the retreat, was basically what I've been talking about, that you guys have been doing your inner work, working with grounding, your own triggers and stressors, transference, counter-transference, all of the things that I mentioned here today. And you continuously doing that, and you're teaching that to other people. And there's something very rare, in his own words, about being both friendly, professional, and authentically there, connected with someone, but yet knowing I'm in my role, right? Knowing boundaries and safely guiding people through establishing boundaries for themselves. And that really stuck with me, because once again, when I came to Thailand, I just assumed everyone knew what I knew, because I was in a small community where everyone was very specialized in their work doing. And I realized not everyone is working in this way. And when Dr. Basili came and visited us, I realized that once again, not everyone is doing this kind of work. And it's not to put myself on a podium. It's just I want to share it, because I think it's something that is very easy to do once you get going and you get guidance into it. But you might not need someone to show you how is that done and guide you through that process. And it takes a little bit of time with the nervous system. That's why the TRE provided training program is a year, and the different containers are spread out over a period of time, because your body learns how to be safe, learns how to regulate itself, starts to release stress, and starts to add something new in, feels safety, feel grounding. Once you've done that over a period of time, that becomes your new normal. And that is how the transformational shift happens when we're working with TRE. So we have a few different ways for people to work with us. The TRE Module 1 is all about understanding the theory of TRE. A few things that I mentioned today, but we go way deeper into the anatomy, neurology, physiology of stress and trauma, and understand the tremoring response as it relates to TRE, and also when it doesn't relate to TRE, when it's an expression of a disease. Maybe someone's shaking because there is an illness. But we learn to distinguish those differences. You learn more about grounding that I talk about today, and not just the theory. You actually get to practice it, and you get to be in a grounded sphere for several hours with other people, which allows your body to start to process stress. So people usually leave Module 1 feeling like they've been there longer than they had been, in a good sense, because the body has so much time to recover, and it gets all of this information, and it gets witnessed, and it gets allowed to feel and express certain things. So the Module 1 is a 2-day training. You can do it standalone without doing the full year program. We're going to have one August 10 to 11. And it's really the main introduction into TRE, besides from taking one-on-one classes and group classes. We also have the TRE provided training program, and that's really about going deeper into the tremoring response, the theory, how it affects you personally, how you can work with it in one-on-one sessions with others, how you can teach groups using TRE, both in person and online. You gain more understanding about grounding and how you can start to practice grounding deeper for yourself and others to help people really manage stress. And you will be in a safe container for a year of learning and growing, which is not just to become a future TRE provider. It's something that will help you to feel more at home and at ease in everything else that you do. Any area that you show up in life, you will show up with your nervous system. And that's why it's highly transformative journey. And the next cohort that we have is starting October 12 to 13, and we still have some spots available for that. I'm going to be posting some links here in the group afterwards, of course, and you're also going to get a newsletter with a few of these links if you're interested in these different programs. We also have a 5-day retreat program, and that's really a deep personal journey, and that is reserved for people that are TRE providers or trainers, or they're already in the training program. But it's really to go deeper, right? Once you learn the basics, you practice it for a while, this will allow you to go very, very deep into different healing arts and philosophies that we have used here successfully at Living with the Spirits for many years, and especially as it relates to TRE in conjunction with TRE. So we have a 5-day program that really takes you through different themes: traditional Chinese medicine, bodywork, organ health, craniosacral therapy, energy work, sound healing, masculine and feminine polarities in the nervous system. We have a modality that Mark has designed called sword fighting, which is perfectly safe. Don't be stressed out when you hear it. It's a way that we engage in a friendly, combative situation, and we can stop and regulate the nervous system. So this is really built as a way of working, balancing your nervous system in different ways, and how you can bridge that together with TRE. And of course, we're going to be teaching you a lot of interventions and deep somatic practices that you can use and take your personal and professional TRE practice to the next level. If you remember what I said, once you're done with the program, a lot of people continue to practice TRE the way that they usually have done. but this will allow you to further bring your knowledge further. So there's 3 opportunities for this 5-day retreats, and it starts in November. There's one between the 10th to 16th of November, one from the 17th to 23, and one from the 24th to 30th. And once again, all of these programs are available at our website, and we're going to send out a newsletter, and you can also write us if you have any more questions about this. And I have a one-on-one program, and that's for you who really want to go deep and become a master at this art. And then you're going to be in container with me when I'm going to teach you a lot of different tools that I've used over the years to really learn how to listen to body's language, honor the message, and also create a connection between you and the client, but also between the client and different parts of the body in a safe way. And you learn how to integrate a lot of advanced techniques that helps regulate the nervous system. You work with fascia, you work with fluid body, energy body, spirit body, you can call it, but it's really about enriching your existing practice and making it very potent as a healing modality. You will gain a lot of personal guidance, a tailored mentorship that really builds you up from where you're coming from, and you don't have to start from scratch. And you will also be in this container where you will experience a grounded state, because you will get a lot of support and you will have access to connecting with me through chat messages and voice messages during this container. So that's really it. Here is, if you want to follow me, I do share a lot of tips online on social media. And if you want to contact me, there is several ways to contact me. I will also leave these contact details below in wherever you see this video, and you will also get it in the newsletter. And I wanted to leave a little bit of time for questions. So do we have any questions in the group? No questions so far. Do you have any questions, Mark? Was it clear?
Yeah, it was clear. Yeah, for me, the most exciting thing is the future of TRE. And the quote that you mentioned earlier, and is that TRE is kind of currently being used as a kick bike, and that tool already just by itself is wildly powerful. I mean, just look at so far how we've come. But the future of TRE is the way that we're blending together these different modalities and following the organism of the individual to better understand how the nervous system reacts and how it behaves. And for me, I just find it really fascinating. And I hope that others do as well, because we have a lot to share. And the future of TRE is upon us.
Yeah, I thank you for those closing words. That's really amazing. And I'm really happy for everyone that's been joining in on this masterclass, whether you watched the replay or you watched the live version of it. And many times I know it's a lot of information and you can feel a lot of things in your body, but that is because a journey is being started when we start to talk about this. And this happens in the trainings too. It happens when we work with people. Your nervous system is listening and your mind is listening. And already by coming to this class, you have started a change within you. And how you continue that, that's the different avenues that I show you. You're more than welcome to ask me questions afterwards. You can contact me directly and I will answer anything I can as soon as I can. So with that being said, thank you very much for joining in. And thank you, Mark, for helping with IT support and all the grounded presence that you bring.
Oh, there's now the comments are like,
Oh, yes, coming questions. Okay, go for it.
there's a lot of love in the comments saying thank you, great to see us, and interesting session. But there's a question about module 1. Will there be more than one opportunity for a module 1 other than the August 10th?
There will be. That's a very good question. So as of now, we do the one in August. And then in October, there's going to be a module 1 that is for the year-long program. But depending on interest, of course, I might put other people in there, and depending on how many people it is, right? The last group was 16 people, so there wasn't a lot of room to put more people into an existing module. But yes, they're going to be more than the August module. I'm going to be adding a few more throughout the year. And maybe I will start add some in person as well here in Thailand. We will see a little bit how things go. Also, when it comes to the year-long program, right now it's October to September. That's kind of been the setup, or October to August. That's been the setup for the classes. And then you have 1 to 2 months to finish your own assignments. And we're going to be adding more of these programs. So if you can't start in October, there's going to be more cohorts every year. Great question.
Oh, that's all the questions that I've seen so far. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to Simba directly on his different social medias, or you can always contact us at livingwiththespirit.com. We're happy to answer your questions and share the links and all the things that you need.
Thank you for that. Okay, everyone, have a great one, and I will see you soon again.
See y'all there.